My next guest is usually seen on the jiu-jitsu mats, but rather competing himself or coaching his wife or someone from the team at Droogs MMA. However, on March 23rd, he makes his MMA debut at Art of War 34. He is AJ DISCIANNI?
DISCIANNI.
Dude, I watched like 4 interviews how to say that. I still didn't get it right.
Yeah, it's hella Italian. We'll mess it up. I just say daddy's milkman, whatever.
I think every interview I messed up, it's been an Italian last name too.
Yeah,
La Fergola. I still can't say Pags' last name, but whatever. So, how's things going on your end?
Good, man. I'm excited to make it to the finish line. We're 8 days away right now as it stands. So, everything's on the upside right now. So I'm just super excited to be here.
I'm gonna take it back, like way back first. A little bit of background on yourself. You grew up in the Pottstown, Potts Grove area. That means probably nothing to anyone watching this, but I kind of shared it with you beforehand. I grew up there too. I know there ain't nothing to do there. Like when I moved to Pottstown, they told me the thing to do was to go to Walmart, and I said, "Get me the fuck out of here."
Yeah.
How did you get into jiu-jitsu?
So I wrestled up through high school. I was a big UFC fan. I watched competitive jiu-jitsu for a little bit. Drunk wrestled my buddies in college a lot. But the thing for me that I gravitated towards jiu-jitsu was I'm hyper competitive. I did sports my whole life. In college, even if it was beer pong, I had to be number one. You know what I mean? So I was like ultra competitive, and jiu-jitsu gave me the opportunity to go and jump into competition again. I just I say it all the time, but I wouldn't get my juices flowing playing like beer league softball or flag football. So it was a pretty natural progression, honestly, to making my way back towards grappling. It was pretty new at the time for me. So, but yeah, it was just a lifelong competition thing, and it gave me an opportunity to get back into it.
Nice. Now, years later, you own a gym back home in Pottstown. How did opening Droogs, for example, add to your career as a competitor and now even as a coach?
Yeah. So my main gym, the gym I got my black belt, is out in Downingtown. That's like 30 minutes away. When we were opening up, we had discussions with our coach, what would make the most sense for both of us. We didn't want to take anything out of each other's pockets and stuff. So it made sense. Like you said, there was nothing back out this way. I grew up here. There was nothing to do other than just basically ride our bikes around or get in trouble. So for me, it was cool because it made sense from a business standpoint, but from a society standpoint, like a culture standpoint, from just a community standpoint, it was cool to bring something back and have kids that was, when I was that age, I had nothing to do. So they come and have something to do that's productive and safe and fun, and it's good for the families and stuff. So it's really cool being back home. I'm ironically seeing a bunch of people I went to high school with that are coming through and stuff. So it's pretty cool full circle journey.
You see that in a lot of bigger cities like Philly. There's a boxing gym at every, I don't want to call it project, but every project has a boxing gym because it's either you're on the corner selling dope or you're in the boxing gym staying a little bit out of trouble.
Yeah.
But your next challenge is MMA. It's not really the first time you've been in the cage. You did some grappling in the cage as well, but you now enter the Art of War cage March 23rd against Lee Moringo, who I happen to be at his MMA debut. And then he's also been on Fury grappling cards too. I've been at 2 of his as well. How did this one come about?
It was just one of those things. So I've been trying to get a fight for a while, with a couple different promoters, at least 3, and it just kind of always came down towards I think people or coaches shying away from saying yes because I was a black belt. And that made it pretty difficult. Also, from an age perspective, you know what I mean? Having my own gym, it could be, I guess, a little bit intimidating for people to say yes as a 0-1 guy or a 1-0 or a debut fight. I guess it was a stylistic matchup that people didn't really want to get into. Lee and I, interestingly enough, were supposed to fight last year. And that was probably the fight that you saw. He actually said no, I think, and then ended up fighting Sage, somewhere along those lines. So, just came back full circle. It ended up working its way back out. I'm excited because, like I said it on an interview the other day, but win or lose, there's no shame in being in the ring with that guy. I know I've made fun of the fact that he tried to change the weight and stuff, but he's a game competitor. You know what I mean? He comes from a good school. I'm familiar with those guys. He's gonna be tough. He's gonna be a tough out. So it just came full circle again. him and I going to share the ring.
Yeah, Semper Fi guys, always great competitors. Win or lose, they're always game. But how do you see this fight going? Especially since if I'm looking at it, knowing your experience, you're going for the submission. But how do you see this one going?
See, that's what everybody says. That's what everybody thinks, right? But no one has seen me throw hands yet. That's the thing. And it's not like all of a sudden I signed a bout agreement and then I decided to start learning the strike. You know what I mean? I've been in the gym for a long time. I had combat matches. I've been on top. I've been on bottom of these situations. I grapple in a cage. So I feel really comfortable anywhere. Honestly, if it was my preference, I would prefer to do high amateur rules, where you can ground and pound and stuff. So people think it's going to be this big grapple fest, but it's really, I don't have a prediction. I've seen this play out in my head every single way, where we don't touch the mat the entire time, where we're on the cage the entire time, where we're grappling the whole time. He's adept everywhere too. So it's really going to be about who's better that night. I really do feel that way. I would like to obviously make it a grapple fest, but that's not what I signed up for. So I feel confident wherever it goes. I've been training with some guys that are much better than me in both striking and grappling. So I've seen it all at this point. So I feel comfortable stepping in there.
And I didn't even take into account that obviously this is your debut, his second fight. So you're going to have bulky shin guards and all that involved. So even if you get into a grapple exchange, it's not much of a grapple exchange anyway, because you have a piece of plastic kind of in the way a lot of times anyway. But one thing I did notice that, ahead of this card, Art of War did something really fun ahead of this one.
Yeah.
And it's an idea that I brought up elsewhere, and it was kind of laughed at, but I love the receptions getting this. They did trading cards. How does it feel like, if you're amateur debut, you're having yourself on a trading card as well? Like, does that make you laugh like it makes me laugh?
Yeah, I mean, I get a giggle out of it. So Art of War has like this cool branding thing where they're like definitely feel very regional, but they make their fighters feel really special, which is cool because not everybody does that. They're not trying to be the UFC, and that's cool. You know what I mean? I think it's very akin to almost like Fight to Win, when Fight to Win was big. You know what I mean? They weren't trying to be the UFC or anything. They were just trying to be a good time, and they treated their people well. And Art of War does the same thing. And I think it's cool that they let people build their brands. You know what I mean? As a debut, having a trading card is pretty cool. I've already had people ask for them. And myself being a trading card connoisseur, I'm excited to get my hands on them. But that's just the cool things they do to build their fighters up. And as a guy who collects cards and as a guy who's going to be on there out in the ring, I can definitely get behind it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I just love the fact that, it's an instant way to connect your fans or even like friends of fighters who come in. They're like, oh shit, you're on a card. Like, let me get a card, and then the little cheeky one too. Like, can you sign the card?
Yeah, right.
It's
cool. It's tangible. You know what I mean? Like, the experience is everything. So don't get me wrong, but I won't get to walk away with my gloves or my shin pads or whatever. So it'll be cool to have a little piece of that to put up. Our gym's got a lot of like little cool knickknacks and mementos and stuff. So having that here would be cool. That stuff always means a lot to people who come through and do tours and stuff and want to see we're legit. You know what I mean?
Nice. And then I got to touch on the fact too, this isn't your first time in the cage itself. This is probably where I probably know more of you from than at, training at or coaching at Fury events. You're part of the team that runs Arena Grappling. Mm-hmm. And for those who have never heard of Arena Grappling because they only watch the UFC or maybe the Fight Pass promotions, give a rundown of what Arena Grappling is and why it's entirely different than what everyone's used to in the grappling sphere.
Yeah, Arena Grappling is an organization that we host. I do the bulk of the matchmaking for. I've competed in. I've coached in it. It's a very, very unique rule set. There's a couple of promotions that do their matches in the cage. However, Arena Grappling is most submissions out of 3 rounds. A submission ends the round. So if you go 1-0 or 2-0 or 2-1, you win the match. But you can't win 0-0, and you can win the first round in theory and then lose the next 2 and still be a loser. So it's pretty cool because it's you get multiple matches essentially in a super fight sense. So it's completely unique in that sense. The guy that runs it, Joe Lisa, is a fantastic guy behind the camera. He chops it up and edits it, and very similar to Art of War. He makes people feel cool. There's guys that are very regional or maybe even very local and have built their brands off of the stuff that he's built around them, which is really cool. There's not a lot of promotions that do that. Even the big grappling promotions, they pop up when they have an event. You see a week before, a week after, they disappear. And then they come back up, week down, disappear. And they do their weigh-ins and their face-offs and yada yada. But if you check Arena's page, man, Joe posts every single day highlights, new events, interviews, seminars. So he's crushing it. So yeah, Arena's been really cool, man. So I've spent some time in the cage, helping everybody else get ready, getting ready myself, competing in it. So cage won't be anything new.
Talked about your journey. We talked about the fight. I always like to try to find a throwback if I could. And thankfully, you're a little easy to find a throwback on.
I'm the
so
president.
I touched on the wrestling and all that before. Believe the hype.
Yeah.
So clothing brand you started you're back in Elizabethtown College. But similar to that, one of the key values you kind of hold in the gym that you're in right now is one of the values behind Droogs is basically be yourself. Like, don't try to be what you're not.
Yeah. So believe it was the clothing line that we started in college. I had worked with some other clothing lines, kind of wanted to do my own thing. And the central message was, just believing in yourself, believing your own hype. I always kind of gave a spiel like, whether you're the best athlete, the best podcaster, it could be the hottest girl at the party, whatever that is, you build your own hype and you believe in yourself and you can accomplish great things doing that. So the phrase is always don't believe the hype, but I think hype's a good thing. You know what I mean? They say the same thing about like ego, like you have to have ego. You know what I mean? There's a difference between being egotistical and having an ego. So believe the hype was just built around like building your own little missions and doing the things that you think are possible for yourself and believing in yourself. And that's like what we're about here. So in that sense, it was very full circle too. I've always been a self-starter. It was my clothing line. This is a business I share with my friends. So it's something one day maybe I would like to revive. We did really, really well. At the time we were in I think 12 countries, almost all 50 states. We're on UFC fighters and NBA players and rappers like Mac Miller and all kinds of stuff. It actually got so big to the point where we just couldn't keep up with it. It was a fun side hustle that became a job, and that's not kind of what our goals were for it at the time. So kind of a wrong place or a right place, wrong time kind of thing.
The one thing that, in addition to that, at one point you had an idea of a shirt where it would say "One day I will," and you'd put a YouTube video together on that. Now, years later, I mean, I could even say decades later because we're both not young bucks, really.
Yeah.
If AJ from E-Town College gave you that shirt, what are some things that you would finish that sentence with nowadays?
Man, I'll tell you what, man, that is a fantastic question. I posted on Instagram the other day that this fight, comes really easy to me at this point because I've got everything that I want. You know what I mean? Um, so if I had to say something that I will do one day, um, I would say that I will create more versions of myself. And I don't mean that in like any particular way that I'm special, but I would love to have some of the kids that are coming up in my program go out and coach one day and compete and so on and so forth and pass down the torch in that regard. So I guess it will be one day I will inspire somebody to believe their own hype. You know what I mean? That's if we want to take it back to its core. Um, Droogs means friends, essentially. I'm very fortunate to be in here with a bunch of my friends to own it with my friends. So yeah, my one day I will inspire somebody to forge their own journey and do the things that they want. Clockwork Orange ties into this. A clockwork orange means like someone who seems fleshy on the outside, but is clockwork, a cog on the inside. So we're all human, but how many of us go to jobs that we hate every day and clock in a 9 to 5? Well, that's a clockwork orange. Like this that we built here at Droogs was my way out of that. You know what I mean? That this was my way to build my own venture and forge my own path and create my own destiny. And if I can sit here or sit in front of the team and motivate somebody else to do that, and whatever it is, maybe it's not even martial arts, then I think my path has been realized at that point. So excellent question, man. That was cool.
that's where I kind of end the question down. I'm going to pass the mic to you. I know you're dying for some fucking Penny's Pizza, but I know there's other sponsors on your end as well. Pass the mic to you to kind of give those sponsors a shout out, and we'll wrap it up afterwards.
Yeah, man. So Penny's Pizza. I think I'm gonna be on weight pretty easy next week, so I'll probably have a slice on the scale, maybe dangle it in front of Lee's face a little bit because I know he's gonna be hurting. Alec Kearns from Angle and Volker Real Estate. He was our real estate agent, law offices of Danny Katz. He was our lawyer getting this whole place set up. Ferreira Construction. And who am I forgetting? Hold on one sec. I'm probably forgetting somebody. Oh, Unchained Barbershop. Yep. So this is the walkout jam right here. So he's gonna do my hair up. That's probably a mess, but he's gonna do my hair up next week. So I'll have some pretty wild hair. So I have some great sponsors. I'll be representing Droogs MMA and Paramount Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. I'm gonna show these guys what that's all about.
Like I said, March 23rd, you make your MMA debut. If you can't make it to the Valley Forge Casino, which I'm not messing up this time, it is at the Valley Forge. Last time it was at the Live just to fuck me over. You can watch it on Star Fund. When you go to buy on Star Fund, you can put AJ's name in there. He gets a little kickback on the side. Also shows that, he's bringing people to the event as well. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure you're probably sold out of tickets. And by the time I post this, you're going to be out of tickets.
Pretty strapped unless Deb can overnight them. I think I sold about 100 at this point. So there's going to be 100 rowdy, raucous fans there ready to rock. It's going to be exciting. Once that music pops and those people light up, man, I'm sure I'll be a lot less chill than I am right now. I've been pretty calm. I get usually pretty bad anxiety, but I'm just so excited to do this. So I'm sure once I hear that pop, it'll be different.
Nice. So I'll link below the link to Star Fund and all. That's probably, by the time this gets posted, probably the easiest way to watch the event. If there are tickets available, I'll also link the Art of War below too. They'll usually post if there's tickets at the door. But best of skill next week. Nice situation where you don't really have much to lose. I think you called it a bucket list, but not a bucket list item.
Yeah, bucket list to me means something that you want to do and you want to check it off the list. This is something I'm doing for myself, so it's not bucket list. Like I said, I'm not out there to cross off the list or check something off. I'm out there to fucking win, brother. So I'm not going to be just some guy that's happy to be there, win or lose. I'm not happy to be there. I'm out to win. I'm a competitor. So yeah, I'm super excited, man. I'm super excited. So I've got everything I want here. He can't take that away from me. Win or lose, nothing changes on Monday. I come back in. I still have the greatest gym in the whole state. I get to come back and teach them on Monday. So I'm excited regardless.
Awesome. Best of skill. Look forward to it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.